Hello, in this video I am going to do a repair on my Tesla Model 3's 18-inch rim. You can see the damage that was done right there by my moving company. Thank you very much. The items that I'm going to need is various grits of sandpaper. I'm going to start with the roughest grit, that's a 60, and then I'll go down to 220 and maybe even 400 grit sandpaper. What you need for the color is this one right here. I bought this, you can get this at any auto parts store. It is a dark shadow gray, number AFM 0360. Again, you can get that at any auto parts store. All right, and then also some tape. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape off the area around the damage. I just wanna make sure that when I'm sanding this, I don't damage the rim at all, the parts that aren't damaged. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put some down here. And then I'm going to put some next to it. I've done this a few times. These rims are not set up right with the tires. It's very easy to curb rash them. And then when you're painting this, it's hard to tell after you've put a coat or two which part you repaired. So what I do like to do is just put a little tape just to mark where I was working. So that way when I go to put the third coat of paint, I will know what part I was fixing. All right, that'll work right there. So again, I'm gonna start with the 60 grit to kind of work on getting just the rough spots out, the high spots. And you don't really need to go too hard on this. You're just trying to bring it down to a lower point. And then I'm going to step down to a less aggressive grit of sandpaper. This is actually pretty deep, so I don't think I'm going to be able to sand this down far enough to get rid of all the scratches. But I'll step down to a lighter grit. And again, this one's pretty deep, so it's not going to be perfect, but it will definitely look a lot better than how it looked with the scratches on it. And the smoother you get it before you put the touch-up paint on, the better. And I also didn't mention that this touch-up paint also has the clear coat included. So what I do is I put 3 coats of the paint first. You gotta wait 15 minutes between each coat, and then I put 3 coats of the clear coat on after that. All right. More over here. Feel that. A couple of these spots are still a little rough, so I'm going to go back with the 60 and I'm going to try to flatten some of these a little better. Again, the more of these scratches you get out, closer to completely flat, the better. But again, this one's not going to be perfect, only because some of these, like this one right here, this is pretty deep. I do not think I'm going to be able to get that perfect. All right, that might be as good as I'm going to get it. And you're better off taking your time. You don't want to rush. The more time you take in this part of the repair, the better it's going to look later. All right, so now I also have One last thing I didn't mention, I do have a alcohol swab. Took this right out of the first aid cabinet. So I do want to clean this up. So you can see some of the scratches are still in there. And again, I could try to go a little bit deeper, but in order to get stuff like this out, these ones, I got to go really deep with the sandpaper. So you clean this up, clean it up good. We're going to let that dry after I'm done with this. That takes a picture. All right, so that's pretty good. So now I'm going to get the paint ready. That sound you hear is me shaking up the paint. Gotta shake it for about a minute to get it ready. Yes. All right, I just want to make sure this is nice and clean and where these grooves are. And really, since I'm done with the sanding, I can take this part off. All right, now I'm going to say the paint is nice and mixed. And again, this is what I'm using. It's Ford CX Dark Shadow Gray. The number is AFM0360. And I think I got this at Pep Boys, but most auto parts store carry this. So it's nice and shook up. I'm gonna go ahead and coat it on there. And you want to be a little thick with your coating. And make sure you go over the edge, because when you're sanding the area, you're gonna have some fine scratches down past where your damage section is. I think I paid about $16 for this touch-up paint kit. So get it on there pretty good. You can always go back and smooth it out a little bit. But you want to put a nice, decent coat on there. And if it's not completely perfect, a lot of times before I put the third coat on, you can go in with a little 800 grit sandpaper and you can smooth down the painted surface between coats. And that is pretty much it. Again, I do 3 coats of the paint. You could sand with like 800 grit wet sandpaper between coats. You do have to let it dry for about 15 minutes between the first, second, and third coats, and then let it dry for about 15 minutes before you put the clear coat on. And then clear coat, I put 2 to 3 coats on there with a clear coat, and then you should be good to go. But that is pretty much it. Again, repairing curb rash. This is a 2018 Tesla Model 3, 18-inch stock wheel with the aero hubcaps removed. So that is how you repair curb rash. Thank you for watching.
Like and subscribe this video if you want to see more videos of how to repair your cars.
That's my daughter, by the way. Thanks, April.